We bring back in the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden as we break down these all-star NFL rosters, starting off with the NFC, obviously very 49er heavy across the board. But what stands out to you looking at some of these playmakers who might be playing out in Orlando next month?
Yeah, well, first off, let me give the 49ers some flowers. As you mentioned, they had 9 members of their team make the Pro Bowl. That's the most out of any team since 2013. So that, goes to show how dominant they've been. You got the Cowboys right there with 7 players. But a team that I would like to highlight when you talk about getting guys into the Pro Bowl is the Los Angeles Rams. They have 4 members, 4 teammates to get into the Pro Bowl. Of course, the usual suspects, Aaron Donald, he's been dominant once again. Matthew Stafford quietly had a real good year. But then you add newcomers to the lineup. Puka Nacua, one of the best offensive rookies in the National Football League. Kyren Williams. Think about this. Kyren Williams made the Pro Bowl, and he missed, 5 games? Only played in 12 games and still one of the top leaders in rushing yards throughout the entire season. So kudos to Kyren Williams taking off. And remember, he wasn't the starter. They had Cam Akers there for quite some time, and they were kind of rotating a little bit, and then they traded him away, and then he became the featured guy. So Kyren Williams really had one of the more unexpected seasons in the National Football League. He took advantage of his opportunity, and he cashed in big time.
Yeah, Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams, 2 names that really stood out. Some young guys stepping up, especially when you consider some of the injuries that the Rams dealt with. This is no rebuilding year for the Rams. Rams on their way, punched their ticket to the postseason, looking to have those guys not playing in that bowl. But let's head over to the AFC. No surprise, Tua, Lamar, Mahomes coming out. Defensively, there's some heavy hitters in there. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Chris Jones, TJ Watt making the high honors. What are some of your takeaways looking at the AFC side of things?
Well, the Ravens, like the San Francisco 49ers, they led their conference. They had 7 members on the Miami Dolphins with their trio of offensive guys, the Big 3. They used to have an old Big 3 back in the day when they had LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh. I guess this is the new Big 3 for Miami. Tua, Raheem Mostert, and Tyreek Hill. Then, of course, Travis Kelce. I love the pass rushers the AFC have. They have at their disposal as well. Just outstanding guys. You talk about some of the guys in the secondary. Sauce Gardner was a surprise name for me because he didn't have the year that he had his rookie campaign. I think around 11 PBUs, no interceptions, but he found a way to get in this list as well. So when you talk about the AFC, of course, we know it's not going to be a competitive game at all, but I would probably show my AFC bias if I had to pick a team right now and give me the AFC to win it all.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Brian. But also, that new Big 3, you might want to take that and run with it before somebody else steals that line, because I like that new Big 3 out in Miami. All right, well, obviously, you and I both know everyone's not going to make these rosters, and there can be some arguments about just about every position. I think of names like Josh Allen, Bradley Chubb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Hurts, selfishly, no Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk who made these rosters. But who do you think are some of those biggest snubs not to make the Pro Bowl list?
Well, for me, the biggest snub in the NFC is Jared Goff. Not seeing Jared Goff on this list is a bit surprising. He had over 4,000 yards, 4,255, and that's 3rd best in the National Football League. He had 28 passing touchdowns. That's 4th best in the National Football League. And Matthew Stafford made it, but if you look at the numbers, Jared Goff, he has better numbers than Matthew Stafford. So not seeing him on the list, not to mention how good their team has been. It's been a while since we've been able to say Detroit, they're a playoff caliber team. But guess what? They're a playoff caliber team, and a lot of that has to do with the development and production of Jared Goff. So seeing him not on the list, I'm surprised. You see there's Zaire Franklin. I mean, he led the National Football League in tackles, 170 total tackles, a tackling machine. He didn't make the list. I don't know how, but numbers should prove otherwise. This is a guy I believe he should be on the list as well. Geno Stone, you talk about how good the Baltimore Ravens secondary defense has been, opportunistic. This is a guy that seemed like he was getting an interception almost every week when the season first started. He has currently 7 interceptions. He's number 2 in that category in all defensive players. He has 7. The best guy has 8, and he also has a defensive touchdown. My last guy is Rasul Douglas. I mean, since being acquired in that trade from Green Bay to Buffalo, he's been one of the difference makers for the Buffalo Bills. 5 interceptions, a big-time touchdown as well. He's been a guy that has been really following some opposing teams' best wide receiver, and he's been doing a real good job in neutralizing them or slowing them down. And his defense has really been balling over the last 3 or 4 weeks as well, and a lot of that has to do with his contribution to the defensive side. But he did not make the Pro Bowl. You can't make everybody happy. Every year is going to be some people smiling from ear to ear and some people feeling some type of way. But those are the guys I felt like were deserving, based on their play the entire season, to be on a Pro Bowl team.
Yeah, absolutely. I can go ahead and go for my argument for Brandon Ayuk, but I'll spare you for that. But what do they say? Sometimes they say it's a little bit of a popularity contest. You consider the fan votes, and then, you know, the players and coaches also get their votes in. But you know what? One thing I got for you, fortunately, we have our very own all-star on our own team as well, Bryant McFadden. We appreciate you. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.
And before we get to February, we got to get to week 18. It's the regular season finale with playoff berths and divisional crowns on the line. And we got you covered. Tune into CBS or stream on Paramount Plus to catch the top action from the NFL's week 18 slate.